everyone. So developing a personal learning theory, it's challenging because my gut tells me that the first people that should have a crack at this are people that research the brain, and I don't do that. But as it turns out, even brain scientists don't understand the process, the tangible process that leads to learning, right? Humans know that we know, we just don't know how we know we know. I also think any modern learning theory would be remiss if it didn't take into account all the points of intersection that it will have with technology, right? From chisels to pencils to computers to simulated realities. You know, technology is going to be hand in hand with education. So where does it all fit in? So the more I thought about this, the more I started thinking about what would the perfect educational technology tool look like? And the more I entertained this thought, the more I was reminded of a scene from one of my favorite films, The Matrix. For the purpose of this video, all you need to know is that it's a futuristic sci-fi story where we have a student named Neo and his mentor named Morpheus. And Neo is a freedom fighter, so he's trying to learn a bunch of different fighting styles. Anyway, in The Matrix, they have an educational tool I'm sure most students would love, the ability to download information directly to their brains. And it's like the most optimized version of what Fieri called the banking model of education. All right, so Neo does this for 10 hours, and at the end of the 10 hours, what does he say?
I know Kung Fu.
So even as an educator, this sounds like pretty awesome to me. Like, imagine it's the first day of AP English class, and instead of going over the syllabus and all the Shakespeare you will read, you just spend the entire class downloading all of the works of Shakespeare and all the analysis that's ever been done and every film adaptation. And then tomorrow you do it for somebody new. You do it for Maya Angelou, right? Like, that's pretty cool. You know, I think most teachers, most educators reject this idea of a commodity transfer of information because we just have this innate recognition that knowledge is so much more than the recitation of facts, right? Often knowledge embodies or encompasses some kind of process, right? Some kind of application of that knowledge. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. But let's think about the ramifications of this, right? If students and teachers have 100% exact identical information, right? Is that it? You know, Piaget said that we broke down information into schemes, which became cognitive structures, which then became operations, right? And so if students and teachers have the same exact replicated copies, right, is the story over? In order to find out, we would have to do what any teacher would do and what Morpheus does, right? We would have to assess.
Show me.
What follows is an exciting action sequence where Neo and Morpheus fight inside of a computer program. And this scene highlights two key ideas for me. The first is that Morpheus wants Neo to demonstrate what he claims to know.
Hit me, if you can.
The second insight is that there's a clear social interaction going on here. Neo is motivated to impress Morpheus. And that's kind of the crux of this whole interaction, because Morpheus, as his mentor, is the only one that can affirm his progress and mastery, right? Neo can't get that from the computer he downloaded all this information from.
Good. Adaptation. Improvisation.
I think we also see what the social cognitive theorists would call high self-efficacy in Morpheus, right? He believes that his student can succeed, and so there becomes this feedback loop where one feels emboldened, which emboldens the other, which emboldens the other, and on and on. So let's go back to our question, right? If we had this perfect tool where we could download all of this information directly, right? Does that constitute an authentic learning experience? And I think the answer is still clearly no. In the film, Morpheus is able to best Neo, and it isn't because he has more experience or he has some other type of tactical advantage. It's because he understands the systems and the contexts in which to employ this information.
How did I beat you?
You're too fast.
Do you believe that my being stronger or faster has anything to do with my muscles in this place? You think that's air you're breathing now?
This type of thinking, or this application of knowledge, in a larger social context, was what Vygotsky considered the bedrock of thought processes and thinking skills. The final piece of the puzzle here then is, how do students fill that gap between what they know and how to use what they know? And the answer to that is opportunity.
Again.
Experience and opportunity are not things that can be downloaded, right? Students need to be continuously challenged, right? As soon as they hit one milestone, there's the next one. And all throughout this, right, educators need to be offering reassurance.
What are you waiting for? You're faster than this.
Encouragement.
Don't think you are. Know you are.
And when needed, a little bit of tough love.
Come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me.
And so the question becomes, what's the end point? Why go through a process like this? And I think it's because as educators, we should want to see what our students are capable of. We want to see them reach their potential. In the end, I hope that my students are able to take what I impart to them and do more with it, right? Do better with it. And hopefully accomplish more than my generation has been able to, and so on and so on. If I had one big key idea for my learning philosophy, I don't think it's a surprise that I wanted to explain all this using a film. I said that learning is a process, and that process is active and creative. Or put another way, I think learning is storytelling. I don't remember the class it was or the year that it was when I learned that George Washington was the first president, right? Whenever I learned that fact. But the reason, or part of the reason why I think I still remember, is because it was tied up in a gripping story, right? The formation of this daring country. But even on a deeper, more fundamental level, I feel like learning happens when we can accurately place students in the middle of their own story and allow them to see where that story might go, where it might take them, and see what's on their horizon. No joke, look at the movie that got recommended to me on my walk home. I didn't even talk about algorithms.